The cars are the stars.
Today, I'm taking you inside one of the most valuable private supercar garages in the world. This is David Lee, the most famous Ferrari collector on the planet. A collection valued at nearly $200 million. It looks like it just came out of the factory in Italy. From his most recent purchase, a $38.5 million Ferrari 250 GTO, to one of Ferrari's most modern icons, the SP3, which I actually got to ride in. Oh my God. The Big Five, assembled in two colors, alongside other cars that are truly one-on-one to it. So today, we're getting the full scope and a complete tour of his incredible garage. I believe this is my fourth time to be in this garage, yes. And it never loses its luster, its energy. Between your red ketchup collection and your mustard collection,
yes.
This is a magical space. And I feel like a lot of car enthusiasts are seeing this frame and going, how lucky this guy is to come into this garage and enjoy it with you. Yeah. So thank you for having us here.
Sure.
We have a strong start here.
This one here, the 288 GTO, is 1985. It's a V8 twin turbo. You know, I mean, it may look like, some people, they don't know, it looks like the 308 or the 328, but it's certainly not. I mean, this is a very powerful car, and it's still very much like a road car. A lot of the luxury, the leather, everything, you can really almost drive this like an everyday car. And as you know, and as I told you before, this is when I fell in love with Ferrari. This is when I was in high school. And you know, in those days we have real magazines, you know, we open it up, Road and Track, and I still have that magazine. And I saw the spread on this, and they were prevailing this as, wow, this is a supercar, the first supercar Ferrari made, and it's this and that. But just looking at it, I thought it was the most beautiful Ferrari, and I fell in love with the design.
I can imagine seeing this in the 80s and just being mesmerized by it. Still to this day, I mean, look how incredible this car has aged. Between the time this was retailing versus now, the price, you just showed me one that sold in an auction for $8.25 million.
Yeah. I mean, when I bought it, it was a lot of money. It was like 2.3, you know.
And probably a lot of people thought that you were insane.
Yeah, that was all the money. That was all the money at that time. It was the most expensive at the time. But it just shows that the value of these cars are appreciated, and it's still appreciating. It's still going to go for more. You're going to see as auctions go on, it's going to go for more. I mean, I didn't do it for that. I didn't know. I just did it for the passion. I loved the car. I wanted to buy it.
The fact that you know how rare these cars are and going out on a pursuit to acquire each one of these cars and collect and retain a collection like this is a huge challenge. It's beyond money. You have to find and you have to convince the people to sell you these cars.
Well, even in this 288 GTO, going back to it, it was a doctor in Italy that owned it, and he loved it. And I remember even when he finally had to sell it, there was a picture of it going, or a video going onto the into the transport car. The guy was crying. He was crying that his baby is gone. But one thing he is at least happy about, just like, you know, sometimes the person receiving, which is me, was somebody he knows is going to take care of his baby.
All right, let's talk about this stunning Ferrari F40. So I want to mention a couple of things that I think are fascinating. And I didn't know this prior to coming here. They made 1,315 of these F40s. So the production value, given how unique and rare this car is relatively high, especially comparing to what we're going to see next.
Yes.
And I didn't also know that this is a 2.9 liter turbocharged V8.
Yes.
And transitioning to F50, there's a big shift with the engine and the production quantity.
Right.
So what are your thoughts on F40, and what makes this car really special?
Yeah, you know, Enzo Ferrari, when he was still alive, he wanted to make a masterpiece. He wanted to make a road car for the street, and this was one. This was,
and also the last one he worked on.
The last one he worked on, and it was the first production car that went over 200 miles per hour. I mean, he really put all his energy to make this car. Just the way the engineering is, and the balance, and the way it was.
And it's a purist. I mean, it's just designed to go fast and be efficient. And if you don't mind, David, I would love for you to show the interior to everyone.
So this car, unlike the 288 GTO, is very much a race car. I mean, you look at it, there's really no creature comforts. Luckily, they gave us the air conditioning on here, but I mean, the seats are like racing seats, very hard, very minimal. It's all about the performance of the car.
The driving experience.
The driving experience, the sound of the engine. It's very minimalistic.
And I mean, I've ridden in your F50. It's a pretty raw experience to drive these cars. You feel the power, you feel the energy. And I have to say, I have to give you huge credit for how immaculate you keep these cars. It looks like it just came out of the factory in Italy.
Yeah, I drive the cars. You know, I mean, I drive it to car shows. I drive it everywhere. You know, I'm not afraid to drive it.
You're also currently working on this car. Hence why the engine cover is actually open. It is fascinating once you understand the mechanics of a car and how an engine is built and bolted into the subframe, the structure.
This garage, the other thing I was saying, it's a working garage. So my Ferrari mechanic, who I have, full time, he's working on these cars in this garage all the time.
Constantly.
He doesn't send it out. I mean, we can probably do 85-90% of the work here. You see the V8 engine, you see the intercoolers, the turbos, the exhaust pipes. In the days of today where everything's covered, here you get to see it.
Absolutely. And these back tires are crazy, David.
Oh yeah, look at that.
They are insane.
Look at that. Yeah,
They're
they have the friction that it has, on the grounds to get that quick jump from 0 to 60 or 0 to 100.
You need traction.
You need traction. Indeed.
David, how much are these going for right now?
6.6 we just sold for in the auction. And because for the higher quantity that these were made, for many years it was not as much, but now it's really like people are respecting it, and now 6.6 is amazing, right?
It's quite amazing.
Yeah.
Off we go to the next one. I'm excited for this one. F50.
Yeah.
They took all the learnings from F40, modernized it.
Yeah.
Now put a V12 naturally aspirated engine and kind of went all out.
Yeah. So what I think they did at that time was, there's only so much they can get out of the V8 and turbo engine. They couldn't make it more powerful. If they did, they would have tried to. And the next thing they had to move to was a V12 engine. First time they used fully carbon. Before it was Teflon and carbon fiber. Now it's fully carbon fiber.
At that time, to fully commit to carbon fiber, it wasn't as proven of a material. Meaning, people knew its strength, but they didn't know the longevity, or if this was going to be a timeless material.
And they hadn't perfected it, right, at that time.
I mean, to be very frank, like I said, I've written in your other F50, carbon fiber work looks immaculate. The structure is strong. This felt more rigid than most of the modern cars that I've driven. Yes.
Indeed, it was a right decision. It was a right choice. It's amazing because the sound you can hear. For many years, that this also car got a little bit of a, didn't hit the potential of what it should be.
So there was a period that was underappreciated.
Underappreciated, but every owner that I talked to loved the car. I love the car. I think now it's starting to get the respect that and the appreciation that it's getting right now.
One thing that I wish Ferrari would do more is these fixed spoilers. When I go back to my childhood, it's like, that's what I imagine. Like F40 and F50 have such a distinct look from the rear. And for some reason, Ferrari seems to really deviate from the spoilers.
Sure. They brought it back for the SF9, the XX, and the F80. They, for a long time, they didn't put the wings.
So what would you say the ongoing market rate for F50?
Well, I mean, the weekend, the red one went for 6.6 million, but the yellow one in last time Pebble Beach went for 9.7 million.
So obviously the year, the amount of miles, and
it is mileage sensitive. It is how rare it is, all that kind of stuff.
David, isn't it crazy? Like sometimes when you drive these cars for 10, 20, 30 miles, it could be a matter of $20, $30, $40,000 in price reduction. Getting a session in these cars is a pretty big deal.
Yeah, you want to enjoy it, but you don't want to put crazy miles on it. I mean, that's.
Okay, I'm so impressed with Enzo for various reasons, but the biggest point for me is the fact that this car was released in 2003.
Yes.
So this car is over 20 years old.
Yes. This car is actually very special to me because it was my first collection car. The first time, like, serious collector. I mean, I had Ferraris before, like regular ones, but this was one that I decided, hey, how can I buy a car that doesn't lose money? Maybe maybe appreciate. And so forth. So at the time, it was like, 15 years ago, I bought this car for 1.43 million. And that was a lot. It was over $1 million. That was my first over $1 million car. And
big deal.
Yeah, that's big deal. And then driving on the street to like, $1 million car driving on the street was a big deal. I think it's when they now perfected the V12. They had balanced it, they had engineered it. It was, of course, at that time, broke all the records. It was also first attempt of using F1 transmission that Michael Schumacher was very involved with to be part of. They took a lot of things from F1 in this car. A lot of people don't know. Still real analog, so it's, just like this car and the previous car, it's all about your driving ability. It's not the car doesn't help you. There's no computer that helps you. It's all you and your ability. This was quite controversial at the time. Pininfarina had its Japanese designer lead this design. And so when it came out, it was like, whoa, man, this is totally different. This is not like the previous design. Love it or hate it. Some people didn't like it, at the time.
Like a lot of Ferraris these days, I feel like maybe that's the art of designing something unique. If a lot of people just like it, or they like it, but they're not passionate, they're not aggressive about it, maybe it's not that good of a design. Really good art is polarizing. You either love it or hate it. If they just make you like it, maybe you didn't do a good of a job.
Some of the supercars are made for long-term longevity, made for something that you appreciate and you're going to love. I mean, you look at all these cars, you still love all the cars. You still love the F40,
this car is
the F80,
22 years old.
And people still love it,
It looks incredible. If someone didn't know this car, they would just assume this is a nice modern sports car.
Yeah, exactly.
They wouldn't know that this car was
23
years old. These are fetching big prices now.
Yeah. I mean, right now, the last auction, 17 million.
Standing room only. Yes. In this building.
$17 million. And you're talking about a some change million dollar purchase that
I bought it at the time.
When you bought it 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Incredible.
Yeah.
They're beating S&P 500. What can I say? This is an Aperta, right?
This is an Aperta.
This is an Aperta. So it's almost 10 years old.
Yes.
Just 10 years old.
Yeah.
It looks incredible. And this is the first time Ferrari really dived into bringing hybrid technology into an iconic car like this.
Sure. With the supercars, they try to do it every decade to celebrate. Like celebrate the 30-year anniversary. F40 was definitely the 40-year anniversary. F50 was the 50-year anniversary. And so, although they didn't make it F60, it's the 60-year anniversary.
Yeah, I was gonna say you have cars from like 6 different decades.
Yes, indeed. And this was the 70-year anniversary. I have quite the story as well. This was not my original LaFerrari. I had a coupe that I bought from Robert Herjavec, and at the time he was going through a divorce, and he had one of the first ones, a Canadian, and he just needed to sell his asset. I have to be honest, I was not at the level of a customer to buy their top halo car at the time. I was buying a lot of good cars. I was getting limited.
Basically, you were building your profile at the time.
I was building a profile, but I didn't have enough to be able to get a LaFerrari. And then 7 years later, I guess he rebuilt his life. He made his money. He had a new bride.
He's a lovely guy.
He's a great guy. So he asked me, can I have something back from what I used to own? It just makes me feel better, sentimental value. And I'm very sentimental about that. I understand that because there's cars I've sold and I sometimes regret it. I want to buy back. So I sold him back his car. But then I didn't have a LaFerrari now. So then I had to look for one. And I was, it was for a year. Like I was like, man, did I make a mistake? I can't find the right car. And then I came across this. It was the LaFerrari Aperta, which is even more rare, right? There was 209 of these, right? Compared to the 499 of the
499 coupe, 210 Apertas.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And so it was a clean one, and I was able to buy it. But this was also, like you mentioned earlier, you're alluding to, it is a really departure because I think, again, they couldn't get more power out of the V12, okay? And then the turbo, they added turbo. And then they added a hybrid electric engine. Yes.
And this car also sounds incredible. Before we keep going, I want to pause for a second. It's a new year, and a lot of us feel the pressure to reinvent ourselves. New goals, new habits, and new version of you. But most of the time, that doesn't last. By February, those resolutions fade, not because we don't care, but because we never slowed down to understand ourselves. One of the biggest shifts for me over the last few years has been realizing that real change doesn't come from forcing motivation. It comes from understanding your patterns and why you respond to life the way you do. Therapy gave me the space to see that clearly. That clarity brings peace, and once you have it, everything else becomes easier to navigate. This video is sponsored by BetterHelp, and I genuinely think they're one of the simplest ways to start that process in 2026. BetterHelp is an online therapy platform that makes therapy more accessible and flexible. You start with a short questionnaire, and based on your needs, you're matched with a licensed therapist, often within just a few days. If the therapist that you match with isn't the right fit for you, you can switch to a new therapist absolutely free of charge. That flexibility matters to me. My schedule is unpredictable. We're always traveling, and committing to in-person appointments can be tough. With BetterHelp, sessions can happen by video, phone, or messaging, which makes staying consistent more realistic. Over 6 million people have used BetterHelp, and it's a platform many people trust. If you've been thinking about therapy or even just giving yourself a mental reset this year, you can click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/Enes to get 10% off your first month. Again, big thanks to BetterHelp for supporting this video, and now back to the tour. I want to quickly ask you a couple of questions.
Yes.
Number one, you recently made a big purchase.
Yes.
And it's all over the internet.
Last call. The eyes of the world on this gentleman.
500,000, and it is sold.
Wow!
Even though we've scheduled this shoot a few weeks in advance, it happened to line up with this crazy week. That's, I'm assuming, very important in your life.
Yes. The 288 GTO was a high school dream car, but the 250 GTO was not even in the category of even considering. It was like outer space category.
That's God tier.
Yeah, that's God tier, right?
I mean, there are only 36 of these cars in the world.
There was recently a white one that was the only factory white. It was owned by John Shirley, the ex-president of Microsoft, since 1999. So very rare. It's an alloy, it's a race car, front engine V12. It came up for the Make-Em auction in Florida this past weekend. Maybe I'll play, I'll try to bid on it, not expecting I'll get it. It was the estimate was 50, 60 million. People were thinking it's probably going to go 70 million. It was just because of the rarity of that car. And I bid on it, and for whatever reason in life, in an auction, sometimes there's surprises and stuff. All the stars aligned. I was able to be able to win the bid, and now I'm the new owner and custodian of this white Blanco Speciale white 250 GTO.
You paid $35 million for it, but with fees and everything, it came out to $38.5 million,
yes, 38
right?
and a half, yes.
Which I would like to think that you got a great deal on it.
Yes.
But more importantly, it also went to a very appropriate owner. Everybody knows that you're going to keep this car forever.
Yeah.
So it found an amazing home.
Man, sounds so good.
Fast, set, and still, babe.
Piero Ferrari reached out to me, the president of Ferrari reached out to me, other GTO owners reached out to me, and of course countless other people from all over the world to say, they're really happy that I won, and that, I was really the right steward for this car. I was the right person for this car. To have it, because I will take care of it, I will drive it around, I will show it to all of you. You're going to see a lot of content coming out, and hope you come back to shoot it too.
Would love to.
You're going to join me in that journey.
And with that purchase, now your car collection tipped over $200 million.
Yes, indeed. A lot of my friends, everybody makes money in different investments and everything. But for me, I was able to certainly make this incredible investment. Like you said, this outperformed a lot of other kind of investment vehicles. But the main thing is I can have fun with it. It's something it's something that I would have done even if it didn't make this investment. That's the beauty of it. But the fact that it did go up in value, it's a bonus that I didn't expect. But I'm much appreciative.
Amazing. Okay, before we continue with cars, can we quickly cover the motorcycles?
Yeah.
Pranav told me that the one in the center has 0 miles and it's worth $500,000.
I collect Ducatis. This is not all of them. I have some at home.
Well, let's give some context about yesterday. We took 10 of our fans. We did a meetup with David, and we took him to your new jewelry store in Larchmont Village.
Yes.
And what I didn't know is the first floor is like your retail space.
Yes.
But the second and third floor are all spaces that David curated with his team.
Yes.
And it's filled with David's memorabilia, guitar collection,
yeah.
car memorabilia, and you had an awesome Ducati back there as well.
Yes. It was a Tudor collaboration Ducati. This is a Mike Halewood. There's only 2,000 made. Again, this is also, everybody has a certain number. And mine is 28, I believe, which is also a number I like. They made 1,000. And that's another Tudor collaboration with Ducati.
I love the suede seats.
So it's a suede seat, brown and black combination, where the other one was more of a black and red combination.
It's a nice break from all the cars to have a couple motorcycles.
But
what yesterday taught me, David, and once again, thank you for doing it, you really are a curator at heart. Let's talk about Dino.
Okay.
Dino is a controversial Ferrari.
Yes.
For multiple reasons.
Yes.
Some people like to think that it's not really a Ferrari. Some people like it because it's an affordable Ferrari, especially at the time. But beyond that, you've actually modified this car quite a bit.
Right. The Dino is a Ferrari, right? It's made by Ferrari. It was designed by all the Ferrari folks, Pininfarina and so far. Obviously did actually a really good job because a lot of people love the design. All the parts, all the OEM parts were used by Ferrari. Ferrari built the car. The only reason why it's a Dino and not a Ferrari is because, according to Enzo, if it's not a V12, you can't call it a Ferrari. This was a V6. They decided to make more, to be more competitive, to make maybe more volume to support their company, right? But Dino is his son. The big complaint the last 50 years was, it looks great. Standing still looks like it's super fast in design and everything.
I feel like the styling is awesome.
The styling is awesome. It's a mid-engine car too. I mean, it's not a front-engine car. Besides that, they were saying, how come it's not as fast? Well, it is a V6. It was like 160 horsepower. Of course, it can be only so fast. What Ferrari could have made, within the next 10 years or something, if they made a Dino 2, could they have used parts to make it more faster and where it's a crowd pleaser, people would be really happy that this is how it should be made. But if Ferrari did that, they would only use their own parts, only use their own relationship to OEM peoples that they use that to make that car. And so with that idea, I said, okay, let me buy a Dino, let me send it to a somebody that's a kind of not a regular restorer, but an engineering of restore, somebody that in his mind really understand engineering, to see what Ferrari could have done. Nobody knew how much it would have cost, because this had never been done before. So it's just like an open checkbook. It was an open checkbook. I was committed to that. and after 18 months and over $1 million I spent, I created this car. Now, we found a V8 engine that was used, an F40, that we were able to mount sideways like the Miura, like the Lamborghini Miura, and be able to, bore out the cylinders, use aluminum crankshaft, and be able and fuel injected to be able to increase now 400 horsepower. So from 160, 400 horsepower. Okay, Motec computers to have computers to help manage the system. Okay. You have a powerful engine, you got to have stopping power. I put Brembo brakes so that they have stopping power. So we put Koni suspension, okay, and, in there. And then basically,
it's a can of worms. Once you start messing with the engine,
it's like a remodel of your house, which
Exactly.
It will start with the kitchen and end up to be the whole house. Not to mention, at the end of the day, after it's done, the weight was the same and the distribution is even.
That's quite impressive.
Yeah, very impressive, very fast. Very fun to drive.
Can we show the interior?
Sure,
I think
please.
the interior looks stunning.
So I restored it also inside.
The leather seats, the button details.
Yeah, it looks very much like a regular Dino that you would see.
David, what's the year of this car?
1973.
Looks fantastic.
When I was doing these kind of just rallies from Pasadena to Peterson, I remember I had all these everybody was driving new cars. I was driving this car. We were going down the 110. I was in the front. They were chasing me and they couldn't chase me. I was so fast. This car is so fast. You couldn't believe it. If I only had one Ferrari for whatever reason, I think I would be this one because it would be my all-around car. I think it just checks all the boxes for me.
Well said. I appreciate the focus on color as well.
Yeah.
So ketchup, mustard, relish. Now, 812 competition. This is an
Yes.
amazing car. I actually
Yes.
had a chance to drive one of these in
Okay.
Dubai. Sounds amazing, but this one is particularly interesting because of the color.
Yes, yes, yes.
Not
yes.
only it's green,
Yeah.
but this color changes depending on where you're looking at it.
Yes, this spec of the car, why it's so rare, is because this spec is only reserved for the cavalcade owners. So those that have participated in the cavalcade. The Ferrari cavalcade, again, to remind everybody, it's the top 100 customers of the world that gets invited, that goes to Italy. Ferrari prepares a route and a plan for a week for us to drive our cars to experience all the different parts of Italy that you may not as a tourist. Only at a cavalcade member could select one of these specs. There was 5 different specs that you could spec. First of all, this is a color, it's called Verde Volterra, which is basically trying to emulate the landscape of Tuscany. You know how when you look at the landscape, some places are bronze, brown, some places are green. And so depending on where you're looking at it, it goes from a bronze to green color. And
Which is kind of wild. We'll get the shots. It's literally, as I'm walking, it's transitioning from green to bronze.
Yes. And it's the first time Ferrari uses color changing paint.
And I think between the Coupe and Aperta, they made roughly 1,600 of these.
I thought it was 800, but
we'll put it on screen. There are too many. Every car.
I have too many cars. I don't remember all the numbers all the time. Sorry about that.
Now, before we go in, and I want to show the interior of this car, I have a question for you.
Yes.
If somebody's out there that wants to buy a modern Ferrari,
Yes.
and make their first Ferrari purchase, which Ferrari would you recommend them as good, safe investment?
For a long time, I told people to buy 430 Shooter Dolly, a 360 Challenge to Dolly, a 458, special. And they were much less money back then. I mean, now they're a lot of money.
Now they're a lot of money.
So it proves that if they had bought that, they would have made a lot of money.
How about 812 GTS?
I think 812 GTS is a good one. I don't know if it's going to be super increase in value, appreciation, but I think it's a good one. It has
but
a chance.
But it will probably retain its value, would you agree?
Yes, and that's good too.
If you can enjoy it and just pay the maintenance for it,
I think it's good. I love that car. That car is great.
It's a great car.
I had that car.
Can we check out the interior?
Yes, sure, please.
The spec of this car, the interior seat, is just phenomenal. There's something magical about the combination of brown and green.
Yes.
And especially with the tonality you chose for this.
Yes.
What was going through your mind, or was this the entire package they offered?
It was a package they offered. Again, it was only for Cavalcade members. You can see that they put my latest one or something at that time. This was special leather that was for this. A Teflon material, or the gun material they used on this was special.
Yeah, it almost looks like wool, a fabric. You can feel the texture.
Yeah.
Amazing. David, can we start this car?
Yeah, sure. So hold it down.
This is
front engine V12. It's
oh my God. Can I rev it a little bit? This is why people buy Ferraris. They sound incredible. This is a stunning car, and I think it has a very bright future. It's going to keep going up and down.
Oh, it has gone up and down. This is the 812 Competizione Aperta, so it's already got, I think, 2.5 million right now. I've seen some.
Do you remember how much you paid for it when you purchased it?
I paid about $1 million for it.
Got it.
Yeah.
So it was a quite high value car right off the bat.
Yes.
Given that it's 812 competition and Aperta.
Yes, that's right.
The Relish collection continues.
Yes, and growing too, because my SF90 XX Spider, which is coming soon, is also green.
Got it.
Also Relish, very special tailor-made spec. Some of the new ones coming are green.
I've actually driven this car 3 different times.
Yeah.
I've driven one exact same spec, not convertible like yours.
Okay.
I'm going to make my statement. Good chance Ferrari might get mad at me. I think it's built really well.
Yeah.
It feels very intact.
Yeah.
It drives and goes like a maniac. It's so fast.
Right.
It puts it all on the road.
Yes.
But in an odd way, it felt more like a Porsche than a Ferrari. Meaning, with these Ferraris, there's this mechanical, almost clunky aspect of these cars that makes driving a car like this so distinctly different. When you drive a 488, 458, even 812, you feel this clunkiness. This felt like such a dialed car that it lost that edge a little bit.
And that's actually, you gave Ferrari a compliment. For them to get it all right, to get it all so perfect, to get it all seamless like maybe the Germans.
Well said. I mean, to a degree, it is too perfect in a way. Yeah.
So I can see how, if you relate it to the cars before, it's just so well done. You know, like why isn't it like the characteristics of what we believe a Ferrari is before? But actually, it's a better car.
From that perspective, I would also say, I guarantee this is going to be one of the most reliable Ferraris out there. Mark my words. Yeah. It's going to have the least amount of time in a shop getting repaired, which older Ferraris tend to require a lot of maintenance, and you can put the power to the road. That's the other thing. Some of the other Ferraris, you really got to lean into your driving skills.
Matter of fact, I'm going to drive it this weekend because I was looking forward to driving it.
This is, I would say, is the best consumer-friendly Ferrari they have ever built.
Yes.
If you were me, would you buy this or a 12 GTS?
I would buy this.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
Just because it's just such a reliable and kind of so well done car, you know. Hey, 812 GTS is a great car too.
Also, that's a pretty reliable car.
You give me a hard choice, but but I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking for you, this car, if you're going to drive it and you want everything to work correctly and flawlessly, you know, it's a better consumer-friendly car.
Well said. This is one of those cars, the more you look, the more you like, the more you understand. And it doesn't reveal its genius right off the bat.
Yes.
I saw this car roughly a year and a half or almost 2 years ago back in Dubai for the first time. And I looked and I said, good looking car. I get it. There's a retro aspect to it. There is a homage to Ferrari's heritage aspect, but it's also very modern. But then mechanically, very raw. 6.5 liter engine that comes out of that goes into this. This also makes 818 horsepower. They made 499 of these, correct?
Yes, that's right.
But the more I look, and I think I'm also influenced by Janek, he loves cars. The more I like this car, and I feel like this car is on an insane trajectory on appreciation.
Yes. Well, you know, let's talk about the family of this car first, the Icona family. You know, there's the SP1, which was the kind of almost like the Sterling Moss Mercedes, kind of like no windshield, you know, one-seater car, right? The front engine V12. There was the SP2, where again, the same car, you know, with no windshield, two-seater, okay, front engine V12. You know, I didn't elect to buy that. I didn't like to wear a helmet, and you know, it was just the safety and everything like that. I didn't elect to buy that. Luckily, there was, among the 499, there was 100 clients they allowed to buy this car without having bought the SP1 or SP2. So I was one of the 100 that didn't. It is the most powerful V12. I would almost say this is like, you would say, the next level from the Enzo. Where the Enzo, it was a V12 naturally aspirated mid-engine. This is also naturally aspirated mid-engine. It's a Aperta, the top comes off. There were about approximately 30 that were exposed carbon like this. That was offered by Ferrari. You couldn't just ask for it. They were offered to you. And I did the green carbon fiber on this.
David, can we show the rear?
Yeah.
Because it takes inspiration from Testarossa. It's such an interesting balance of retro, modern, and then you have the naturally aspirated engine. And I watched your video with Jay Leno. Jay seemed to really like it.
Fantastical.
Yeah, and he's someone that doesn't really like newer, more high-tech cars.
Right.
So I feel like Ferrari really honored this heritage with this car, even though it's a year-old car, really.
I mean, I think this is probably one of the most popular, most desirable Ferraris at today.
David, I want to quickly talk about numbers here because it's quite astonishing. So the car MSRP is around $2.2 million, and then you add the options. I'm assuming you paid somewhere around $2.5, $2.6 million plus tax for this car?
About closer to 3, yeah.
Because of your spec.
The carbon fiber bump, it was a big number.
Big number, got it.
Yeah.
I've heard that you got offered $8 million for this car.
In the very beginning, when I got it, somebody offered me that, you know, and obviously, I mean, I wouldn't have sold it, but the last auction, a similar car that Ferrari made, actually they made one more, in carbon fiber, like this one, which sold for $26 million.
$26 million For the third and final time, the car is sold!
It was for a charity, but still, the point is, it is fetching incredible numbers.
Well, but again, in any auction, there's two people that, that makes the number, right? It's not just one person. He didn't say, "Oh, just let me write 26 million."
Yeah.
There was somebody bidding up, and then he ended up winning the bid. Just like the GTO, there was three people bidding.
Yeah.
I didn't just suddenly say, "Hey, let me put $35 million."
Yeah, I think it's worth 38 million.
Yeah, so there's people that bid in order for the number. I mean, there's more than one person that feels it's that value. But anyways, yes, the last one winning bid was $26 million.
So would you say like fair market value for this car would be somewhere around like $10+ million-ish?
That's a deal, yeah.
That's the deal. There you go. And you gave me one more promise. We're going to take a ride in this car later this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
Which I'm excited about. Let me tell you, prior to coming here, I didn't realize how valuable this car is and how important of a car it is.
Yeah.
So please.
Yeah, this is a 1964 250 Lusso competition. You know, it's a race car, road race car. It wasn't at the beginning when they first came out. It wasn't meant to be. It was, you know, a Lusso means luxury, means elegance. It was meant to be a gentleman's car, road car. But you know, as everybody understood Ferrari, hey, Ferrari's a race car. So then people would bring it back to the factory, modify it, you know, make it set it up to be a bigger engine, change the racing wheels, change the racing suspension, racing seats, put roll bars in there. What I do know is today, there's only 4 existing ones. I have the yellow one, there's a silver one that my friend owns, there's a blue one, there's a burgundy one, and they're out there having fun and taking out to race. I race this car. This is my classic car, race car. I like racing vintage Ferraris, and this is one. None has come to market. There was nobody's selling their cars. There's only 4. I would have to say north of $10 million for if it would have been for sale.
And there's a reason why this car is next to it.
Yes,
because there's a correlation. I would love for you to explain that.
So in the 2017, again, was for the same time as the LaFerrari, was the 70-year anniversary. And then for the 70th anniversary, they wanted to do something very special. Actually, at the time, they picked 70 different iconic Ferraris, and they used modern cars to make tributes to it. This, you can kind of say, was a 71 tribute car that they did, because at that time, they offered me the F12TDF, and I said, hey, you know, I want to do a spec on it that was super cool. Anyways, I came with the idea, look, I also have a very special car, 1964 250 Lusso competition. Could we make a tribute to that car? You know, just like you did for the other 70 cars? And he said, yes, they loved the idea. So we sent him like 1,000 pictures of this car, and they made this one-off spec to be a tribute and matching to this car.
And it's named after you.
Yes, it's, you know, most of the time when you can see on the kick seal, it will say Ferrari. This one says F12TDF DSKL, which is my initial. And the plaque in the middle saying that this is a tribute to David Lee's 1964 250 Lusso Competizione.
And this is where really the sentimental value comes in, because now you're building these relationships where a big manufacturer, I mean, Ferrari is not a small company. It's not a small manufacturer. These guys are making cars in thousands to say, we're going to dedicate a part of our factory for a moment to make a car to pay tribute to something historic that you own and that honors your legacy with the brand. That's super cool. I would like to think that this is probably one of the most valuable Ferraris you own in your collection, because this is, I mean, literally dedicated to you.
Yes, I mean, for you know, Ferrari's a big company. There's a lot of big boys, a lot of big customers in the world. For them to kind of make a special highlight for you, recognition for you, is a special thing. But when they offer you a F1 car, that's like, man, you're really in.
You're part of the family.
You're part of the family. You're part of the family.
They're giving you a
and
piece
they offered
of
me
the
that
heritage.
car. I didn't buy it from auction. They directly offered me that car.
That's amazing. I'm excited to see it.
Yes.
Okay.
So this is the 296 GTB. It's the Santo Ferrariano, which is the track race version.
But it still performs like a Ferrari. This thing is bullet. I mean, this thing is really fast.
The F80, I mean, you know, they're using this. They're going with this, right?
Yeah.
The V6 turbo.
Feeding the future platform for Ferraris. While we're at it, can we also talk about your F80 that you're ordering?
Sure.
Or they're hopefully soon receiving.
Yeah. I think they are. You know, it's tailor-made. Again, I got offered the exposed carbon version. I'm doing that in so-called red. but I think the internet's calling that barbecue because it's a little bit kind of a burgundy. You know, it's different. I mean, it's again, when you look at it, you're gonna be like, oh man, how come it's like that? But then, people are gonna fall in love with it.
I was gonna say, I'm raising my hand right now. I want to be on camera. I think it looks phenomenal. I don't get why people don't like it.
Yeah.
It's gonna be like SP3. The people that are judging it are not sure about it. They're gonna slowly come to the other side.
A lot of people didn't see it in person too. I mean, I was in Maranello, they showed it to me.
I mean, I saw it Monterey Car Week.
Okay. Oh, okay. Right, okay.
And to me, it looks amazing. 288 GTO.
Yeah.
Another F40.
Yep.
F50. This is the car you and I rode in.
Yep.
After doing your podcast.
Yes.
It's something else.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try to describe it. You tell me if I do a good job. Imagine a big go-kart that's built out of carbon fiber with a roaring engine on the back where every time you shift the gear, you feel like your spine is moving with the car. And it's very raw, very low to the ground. You feel like you're skidding over the road. But it feels very tactile and mechanical. Every inch you turn the steering wheel, every time you shift the gear, you feel every piece of the movement. That's how it feels like to be in this car.
Yep, you pretty much described it well. I mean, described it really well. This is such a fun car to drive, and that's why I love it.
The cars are incredible. The access is rare. But having spent real time with David, I would honestly argue that who he is and what he has built is even more impressive than the collection itself. I've known David for a few years now, and beyond the garage, what stands out is his outlook on life and his desire to do more than just collect.
To me, in my mind, there was no option to fail.
Yeah.
It had to succeed some way or another, and I was going to do whatever it took.
It's a painful process, and it's a process that I want to say almost every entrepreneur goes through.
A lot of students would ask me, what is the secret to success? What drives you to that can help me to have success, right? There's 3 rules that you can control and that you need to keep to. One is to work hard. Second is to work hard with perseverance. And third is integrity. Now, that sounds familiar, right? The 2 other things that you cannot control that you need to wait for is timing and opportunity. When all 5 of those things are aligned and you go for it, I believe some level of success will happen.
Or magic happens.
Yes,
really.
or magic happens.
His story is a true American dream. From his upbringing to building a global jewelry business to becoming one of Ferrari's most trusted collectors, every part of that journey was earned.
Yeah, you have to be hands-on. A lot of the people think that, okay, well, you can just run a business and have people do it. Most of the time it doesn't turn out well, whether it's the business gets run to the ground, because nobody's going to care or know your business better than you.
As we move upstairs into his office, you'll start to see that side of him more clearly. And if you want to learn more about his upbringing, his businesses, how he built this collection, and his outlook on life, I highly recommend watching the podcast I did with him a few months ago. It adds a lot of context to everything you've seen in this video. Oh, David, you do bring in your personality into your businesses, let me tell you. I saw your old video, and I was like, where's that F1 car? And I knew you wouldn't sell it. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
I love this. It's like, who walks into a jewelry store with 25 brands, but right off the entry you have an F1 car? That happens to be Michael Schumacher's.
Yes, 2002 Michael Schumacher car that Ferrari factory Maranello offered me. It's a championship winning year. In those years. Matter of fact, John Todd was here and he saw it and it gave him good memories of this car. It's a tremendous car, such a piece of history.
Does this start up?
It starts up if their team started up. I don't know how to do it, but yeah, they start up. People take this in their F1 program because Ferrari has a program. So if I wanted to do that, they can keep it and take it there and do it.
So we talked about it during the tour, but just to give everybody a little bit more context, David owns jewelry stores that houses multiple brands under one roof. But more importantly, David brings his personality, his spirit into these stores. And given that he loves cars, memorabilia, and really, you're a collector at heart, he has all these pieces all across his businesses. And this one, right off the entry when you walk in, there's a Formula One car. This is so cool. Unconventional, but it's very you, and you're true to yourself.
Yes,
so
yes.
I applaud that. I appreciate that.
Yeah. And you know, I do car shows here. You know, in the parking lot. You know, people park their car and they come and they're like,
they look at the watches and all that. Awesome.
I built this plaza in 2003 in my store. I'm actually going to go through a whole renovation of the plaza and the store.
So what are some of the brands you have here? I see Cartier.
So you see Cartier over here, you got Piaget over here, you got Rolex, which is our big brand over here. And then as we come down the line, Monza Design is my own brand. The concept is a 70s styling. So far I've created eyewear that's made in Japan by the best factory in Japan. So I have a whole line of eyewear and watches that I've created from Geneva.
I bet this was a big journey. Like, you cannot just start a eye brand and a watch brand. It's a big deal.
It is a big deal. It took a lot of research, a lot of consideration, a lot of design, because I designed it. But you can see in the box, it's like a car toolbox. It's got different components. You can have strap or bracelets, but you can have the different tools to change it. But it's designed to be like a old school kind of toolbox. This area, the awards that I won, with the cars, the boxes I get with the cars and the key holder. Now, here's another brand that's quite interesting, Fermata. You know, Fermata.
Don't tell me this is your...
This is my wine glass company. Fermata,
Okay.
So Fermata in the music world, and this Fermata, means a sound that sustains and holds for a long time. This special engineered glass is made in China, but it's made in China not like the high production, lower price point. It's actually very technical. My partner that makes this makes computer chips, 100% crystal, no lead, but it's the way engineered. It's the sound that it produces, the chime that you're gonna hear, and how long the resonance is. So I'm gonna demonstrate this right now. Okay, so this chime is so loud. No other watch, brand has this sound. It doesn't
Still
have
going.
This sound. Yeah, so you see that? You see that resonant? 40 seconds long. 40 seconds long, okay? Right, so at a dinner, in a celebration, and obviously if you have wine in there, it's gonna do the same. You have this kind of incredible sound. You know, this is the white wine glass, which is a little different pitch.
It's echoing and building itself.
Is that crazy?
That is wild.
And it lasts, again, I think 40 seconds or so. Look at that.
David, how are you doing all of this stuff? You got jewelry stores, you got cars. You're doing a lot. Yeah.
I do a lot. I mean,
how big is the team, or how do you even pull this off?
It's big. I mean, if you go to my personal website, davidsklee.com, you're going to see all the different things I do. You know, the entertainment. You know, I do production. You know, films. I do mentor classes. You know, I mentor entrepreneurs. I have product. I have charity and philanthropy that I'm very involved with. Jewelry stores, the automobile. I do a lot, and I'm thankful to God that gives me the ability to manage a lot of things. But you do have to have good people, and I do have a lot of good people. Glacute, you know, Breitling, Tudor, Breguet, Ulysses Nardin, Chopard.
Thank you, David. This was awesome.
Thank you.
It's quite fascinating how many things you're working on. And I think even more importantly, how passionate you are on all of those things. You're very honest.
Yes.
All the way to even the little, you know, not little, but really the event that you do in Monterey Car Week. It has all of your passions, the wine, the cigar. Everything has to be to David's enthusiasm level.
Yes. Remember, you know, the gentleman asked me, David, what is important in, you know, whatever you do, the business? And I told him it has to be passion, because when you do the passion, do it by passion, doing what you love. You're gonna spend time on it. You're gonna try to do it good. You're gonna enjoy the process, and that's what any person needs if they want to do something successful.
Well said.
Yeah.
Well said. All right. Can we drive the SP3 now?
Yes, let's go for it.
Let's do it.
Okay.
David, are we doing this?
Yeah, we're doing it. Let's get in there.
All right, let's get in there.
Brings up like LaFerrari. It's like it's actually a LaFerrari chassis.
Okay. Oh man.
How's it feel so far?
Feels pretty darn amazing.
Yeah,
I mean, it feels like I'm in a
right?
It's like a jet fighter.
Here?
And basically the seats are incorporated into the chassis.
Yeah.
And you can only adjust the pedals, right?
Yes, exactly. Just like the LaFerrari. All right.
All right, let's start. Oh wow, the shake.
Yeah. And you know, when I was driving it, it reminds me now of the naturally aspirated V12 of the, you know, Enzo.
It's actually quite cozy in here.
Quite cozy.
Yeah,
quite
like
spacious.
you really get yourself into the seat.
Yeah. And you see here the rear view mirror, it's you know, it's digital. You know, in driving these cars, you should always try to take the angle, you know, because still, even though the lift's up, it's not exactly like a normal car.
I like this mustard color also on the interior. It's,
Yeah.
It's not as...
Well, it's a canvas material.
Yeah, but very durable and strong, and I like that they also
Yeah,
incorporated
yeah,
it here. All right. Let's experience this thing. You can literally hear the little rocks that go into the wheel wells. I mean, your rear wheel wells are massive.
It really is.
I don't know if people can see it on these side mirrors.
Yeah, this is a wide car. Matter of fact, a lot of transports cannot fit it. It's so wide.
They need to take out the side mirrors, right? In order to fit in.
Yeah.
It snaps your neck for sure. Those shifts are powerful.
It's a more refined and more modernized Enzo. You know what I mean? Like the Enzo is cool, but you know, you still, when you drive it now compared to the modern cars, you say, well, okay, the F1 is improved, a lot of the functions improve. Of course, you know, the Enzo was a 2003 car, but this is 2025. And you can just see all the refinements have been updated from the Enzo.
You can take a long ride in this car, no problem.
Yeah.
It's comfortable.
Yeah.
It really is. Once you settle into your seat, it really feels good. Oh my God. Incredible.
I didn't even go to 9,000 RPM. That was just 7,000 RPM.
And the stopping with ease.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah.
Not a problem at all.
Yeah.
That was amazing. Those gear shifts are quick.
Yeah. It's the quickest in the business for sure.
Yeah, it's that was amazing.
Yeah.
When you accomplish success at this level, and when you earn this much money and have the means to now have a $200 million car collection, that kind of success can really change you.
Yeah.
So I really look for people that can carry their success, their wealth really well. And I think you're one of those individuals who do a really good job. You share it with others. I mean, you didn't have to have us in your garage. There was no need. You didn't even ask for this video. I asked for this video. But you openly said yes. And you're excited to share it. You're giving all this value.
Yeah.
And I always tell people, if you dream of something, first you got to be able to think about it, then you got to be able to touch it. And with these kind of videos, I want to give that tactile experience. It's like we are in an SP3. There are only 499 of these, and I'm getting a chance to ride in it with you, and we're broadcasting this experience to the world. We want to help people dream big. We want to show them that it's possible. You started from somewhere and you got to this point, and same for me. It is possible. If we did it, you can do it too. And I think it's important to share the success as much as the journey as well.
Sure. And as if I can add, I mean, I am a religious person. I am a Christian, and I believe a lot of blessings are, although I work hard for it, a lot of blessings are from God. And so I don't want to take all the credit. And so if that is the case, why should I be so proud of myself? If I didn't, it's not all my credit. A lot of people work hard, but you know, I believe I was blessed by God, and so I have these things, and I take that approach, and I feel like I'm not better than anybody else. You know, I'm not smarter than anybody else, and so why should I act that way?
Again, thank you for opening your doors
worries.
to us one more time. This was so much fun talking about cars, driving cars.
Yeah. You're always great, so I enjoy having you.
Thank you. And guys, make sure to follow David, both on Instagram and on YouTube. And thank you guys for watching.
Thank you.